this weekend considerably, but we've got all those severe thunderstorm warnings lined up here from Miami to Grove and Grand Lake all the way into southeast Oklahoma. So anywhere within this line, we could have winds gusting to at least about 60 miles per hour. We've already had reports of wind gusting into the mid-50s to borderline severe levels. So again, we've got to be very careful with this line as it does move off here to the east. And again, still watching that we could get a few embedded areas of circulation. James, you've had a chance to look over some things with a high-resolution Doppler radar. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, same trend. We're not seeing the intense rotation with that Haskell County storm at this point, but we've already seen damage out of circulations that have not been terribly strong either. So we're still watching it, still tracking that tornado warned storm in Haskell County until 1:30. As we come up toward another report from Mays County Emergency Manager of more power lines down between Pryor and Adair and up toward Langley and Strang as well. Metro area, no severe weather threat here, but the rain continues to fall. As we look further to the west or further east, that line of severe storms continues to move toward the Arkansas state line, now cutting right across parts of Delaware County. And as we've talked about, that tornado warning in Haskell County is no more. Canceled early by the National Weather Service office in Tulsa. So we'll still watch this, but you can see wall-to-wall severe thunderstorm warnings from the Red River all the way up close to the Kansas state line. I'm going to give you one more track of these storms, too, as they continue to move to the east, almost out of our area. Moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour toward Denman, Stigler just here in the next few minutes. Gusty wind is going to be our primary concern. McCurtain, Summerfield, Keota, Victor, and toward Latham. Let's go a little bit further to the north now as we take you into the Cherokee County portion of this severe thunderstorm complex, moving east across eastern Oklahoma, the danger area now well to the east of Highway 69. This part of the line moving into Adair County soon and into central Sequoia County. So Vian, next few minutes, Cookson, southeast shore of Lake Tenkiller. There's Eldon to the east of Tahlequah, Chewy, Marble City, Rocky Mountain in Adair County, Brushy, and toward Greasy. There just to the north of Sallisaw along Highway 59. Let's go a little further to the north now, too, on the leading edge of this now in Delaware County, as that is just about to Highway 59, and you can see right through the Grove area, kind of curving back just to the west of Little Kansas. Moving to the northeast toward Grove, well, it's just about in Grove right now. Brush Creek, Little Kansas by 110. There's Sycamore, Colcord, Southwest City in Missouri, Coy, and toward Taunus. And as we look further to the north, take this all the way up to the state line, and we do have from the Kansas state line all the way to the Red River, kind of a continuous line of severe storms. That part of the line just about to move out of Oklahoma as it moves across parts of eastern sections of Ottawa County, Fairland, Quapaw, Commonwealth, Baxter Springs in Kansas, and the Casino area. There's Galena, Seneca, Missouri by about 1:31. So now the tornado warnings have expired across eastern Oklahoma. So what we'll likely do is just roll back to programming. Our Fox 23 severe weather team is fanned out, getting pictures and video of the multiple spots of damage that we've seen across eastern Oklahoma. One in southern parts of Tulsa County, very close to White Hawk Golf Course. Another hot spot seems to be close to Adair, Pryor, and towards Strang and Langley. A lot of reports of power lines and some tree damage in that neck of the woods, and all the way up toward Pensacola and Pensacola Dam. So far, on the overall scale of tornado damage, it certainly looks like this one could have been a lot worse. We're likely just seeing damage levels that would be consistent with EF0, possibly up into EF1 level tornado damage, at least from the pictures I've seen so far. But we will continue to bring you updates through the afternoon. If another tornado warning is issued, we'll be back on very quickly. But for now, we'll go back to regular programming as we continue to track these storms moving into Arkansas.
Focus is at that one point, and we want that center of mass right below where the toothpick is right now. Here is the kicker. You're going to love this. All right. Going to use some matches for this one here. We're going to light a match, and now we're going to light the toothpick. Watch. Just light the toothpick on fire and start it burning. You know it's going to fall. It's going to get to the very end there. It's going to burn through. It's going to... No, look at this. It's now perched on the very, very edge of the glass. Why? Because that was the balance point in the first place. And why did the fire go out? Well, the glass robbed the energy away from the burning stick and stopped it from burning all the way through right there. So you truly have two forks precariously placed on the edge of a glass using a toothpick as the only way to support it. Why? Because you know something about the center of mass. Oops. Darn it. Well, here is a really clever kitchen bet that you can play using an old wine bottle and a cork. Here's the challenge. You're going to take the cork and push it back down into the wine bottle. Now, I've shaved this one off just a little bit using a kitchen knife because it was just so hard to get it back in. And you can see here this last point, I'm using just a piece of dowel rod to try to hit it back in. All right, let me do this. Bingo, in. Now the object is to get the cork out of the bottle any way you want. You could try to put water in there if you want to. You just say you got to get the cork out of the bottle, and you can't destroy the cork. So it can't come out in, a million pieces. You can't light it on fire inside the bottle. You need to get the cork out of the bottle. Well, here is one way to do it. Believe it or not, it's as simple as using a produce bag from the grocery store. You want to put the bag into the bottle and blow a little air into it. So how can a plastic bag help you get the cork out? Well, you've got to just turn the whole thing upside down, right? So a little creativity. Now put the cork into the side of the plastic bag. Now we're going to use friction to help us a little bit grab onto the cork, and then we don't want that friction. We want the bag to actually slide through. So we're going to try to pull this back through, see if it can catch. Come on, catch. There it is. Oh, perfect. See how it caught? There at the very, very end. So now when we pull like this, the cork comes along with the plastic bag. There's enough friction between the cork and the bag to stay there, but the bag against the glass is kind of wrapped around the cork, and now it's going to take a little patience. You can do it. You just don't want to break the bag, but they are incredibly strong, and bam, cork is out, and you will win that bet every single time. Still to come, things get out of control when we supersize the elephant's toothpaste. 3, 2, 1, pour it in. That's coming up on DIY Sci.
You're watching DIY Sci on Exploration Station.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green.
Okay, Fox 23 Chief Meteorologist James Adelot tracking a tornado warning in parts of southeastern Oklahoma right now. Let's get right to that. Not sure why we've got that Skyview logo on the screen right now. We can drop that. Look down in parts of Haskell County. That circulation has intensified just a bit in parts of eastern Haskell County now, southeast of the community of Stigler right now. This is going to be moving directly toward Keota. If we've got a tornado forming with the storm, it's going to be located kind of right in here. So southwest of Keota, southeast of Stigler. Stigler, you're in the clear from this storm. In fact, the official tornado warning polygon does not include Stigler. As we track this storm to the northeast at about 30, 35 miles per hour, it's going to be very close to Iron Bridge and Keota by about 1:23. We can take a look at this on high-resolution Doppler radar right now. And again, as we look right into this area, this is where that circulation would be forming. So this is Stigler, here's Lafayette, here's McCurtain, Keota, and Iron Bridge up to the northeast of this circulation, but it would be located right in here, which is well south of Highway 9, north of Highway 31. This is going to be some, let's see, I'm going to actually drop the radar picture because, well, it's still some open country right here, but it's about to move into some pretty heavily treed area, but the red next to the green right here, that's where we're seeing that circulation develop. So we've watched this. This is the original part of the line that moved through parts of Pittsburgh County, prompting a tornado warning, weakened pretty quickly, prompted a new tornado warning as it was in southwestern parts of Haskell County. As that moved to the northeast, it weakened pretty quickly, and as it probably will happen with this one, it will flare up, have the potential to produce a tornado, and then weaken again. So if we've got one trying to form right now, it's southeast of Stigler. The danger zone is just in the eastern part of Haskell County. This tornado warning is in effect for about 35 more minutes. It's in effect until 1:45. Now, once this moves out of Haskell County into parts of LaFleur County, in fact, once it moves past Bixby, that's out of our coverage area as it moves out of Haskell County right now. So that's about the strongest storm that we have ongoing right now. We still have that tornado watch in effect east of Highway 69 right now, and that's where the main severe weather threat will stay for the rest of the afternoon. Now, we've talked a little bit this morning and into the early afternoon about the potential for redeveloping thunderstorms later this evening. That is still a possibility, but mainly northwest of Tulsa, where we have not seen the rain nearly as heavy as what we've seen from Tulsa to the southeast. As we check velocity, we're still seeing just to the northwest of the community of McCurtain pretty strong indications of that rotation right in here. So the reds right next to the greens now, and that will continue moving to the east-northeast, very close to the community of McCurtain and moving in the general direction of Keota. We're going to watch it very closely for you in Bixby and up north of just to the northeast of the dam, Robert S. Kerr Lake, the community of Brent, just to the south of Salisaw and Wild Horse Barbecue there on the south side of Salisaw on Highway 59. We'll be watching very closely as this moves to the northeast, going to be moving in that general area toward Highway 59, Brent, and the southern part of Robert S. Kerr Lake. So that's the circulation just to the north of the city of, or the community of McCurtain right now, and southwest of Keota. And it would be kind of right in this area and to the east of Lafayette. So once you get west of Highway 82, the danger area is pretty much clear in that area. Now, we just had a new tornado warning issued back into parts of LaFleur County. We'll take a look at that because it does include Bixby, and we do have some viewers in Bixby. That's the circulation that has moved out of the Red Oak area and right back up into western parts of LaFleur County. So right in that corner of Latimer County, just about to cross the county line and move into parts of LaFleur County. We can do a quick track on that storm. As it moves to the northeast, it's going to be very close to, well, let's see, Walls 114, Dog Creek, Latham at 129, Calhoun 133. There's Bixby at 137 and Bedwell at about 140. So really kind of along Highway 31 here is going to be kind of the western edge, the left edge of that tornado warning polygon. As we drop that tornado warning and look back over into our storm approaching Keota, the rotation continues present. It's not super strong right now southwest of Keota, but you still need to take your tornado precautions in the community of Keota as this gets up close to Highway 26, continuing to move toward the northeast in the direction of Keota right now, and that tornado warning is still in effect until 1:45, as is the LaFleur County storm for Bixby until 1:45 as well. Meteorologist Michael Sager been watching these storms too, and thankfully all clear in Tulsa. A lot of people on the south side of the county are cleaning up after tornadoes earlier.
Yeah, I've been watching these storms since very early this morning when we first saw this complex begin to develop into western portions of Texas and basically track its way to the north and to the east, right toward us here in eastern Oklahoma. And you can see here's those tornado warnings that James was pointing out. Got the reflectivity on here showing you where the heavy rain is as well. That's the other concern we have. We have a lot of saturated ground across the region, so it's not going to take much to raise those rivers and creeks. So just be prepared if you live in a spot that might be a little favorable to some high water. Just be a little extra cautious, and if you come across any high water, again, don't attempt to cross any flooded roadways. No flash flood warnings, though, as of right now, so that's certainly some good news. But I do want to, again, switch this back over to velocity because we have seen this circulation, actually two circulations now, really come together here over the last 10 minutes or so. And I'll just pan this a little bit farther here. We'll line this up so we can do some storm track tracks on these, but zoom a little bit closer. And as you mentioned, James, that one near Keota was showing some signs maybe of weakening a little bit, but we'll start here first with the circulation south of there, and this is a fairly tight circulation right near Walls. That is a pretty tight circulation here, now crossing right into LaFleur County. So we'll track this off to the north and to the east. Let me zoom out just a little bit more, and this is going to work its way to the north and to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So it's not moving quite as fast as some of the earlier ones were moving, but you can see if it continues that, hold that track, that may come up here to around Panama. So I do want to take this track at least to about Panama. And again, move this off to the north and to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and take this storm track here, and we'll track this right. Here's that circulation. Again, that's a fairly tight circulation coming right now into LaFleur County. We're going to track that off to the north and to the east. And again, it's going to get very close here to Bixby. And I know we've got some viewers in Bixby, so we're going to track this very close. And sometimes as these things go, they may try to start to turn back to the left. So we'll have to at least keep an eye on that too. But right around Dog Creek here over the next 10 minutes, Latham at about 131, Calhoun about 135, Bedwell at about 141, Panama at about 146, Coal Creek at about 149, and then we are looking at areas around Sunset Corner about 152. And again, this is a fairly tight circulation, really starting to wrap up here, coming right into LaFleur County. That is moving off to the north and to the east at about 30. So we'll remove that track. Let's go back here to the north. We've got two areas of circulation fairly close to each other here. We've got the other one here into parts of Haskell County. So let's pan up a little bit closer here. That is the one here right near Keota, tracking off to the north and to the east. We'll zoom in a little bit closer here into this circulation. Not quite as pronounced as it was when the tornado warning was first issued, but you can get an idea. There is at least a little bit of broad circulation still ongoing here, so still want to make sure you're taking your tornado precautions here around Keota as this continues to move off to the north and to the east. So we'll do a quick track on this one as well. Again, off to the north and to the east, about 30 miles per hour or so. This is going to come very close here to Keota and then off to the north and to the east. And eventually we'll take it all the way up here into southern portions here of Sequoia County too. But Keota about 123, so we've got about another 7 minutes, but take those tornado precautions now. Again, interior room away from any windows and away from any outside walls. That's why you want an interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. That offers the best protection from any flying debris within any circulation. Then, of course, any flying debris can sometimes go through those outside walls, and that's why you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. But again, Keota here in the next 7 minutes, that circulation will be passing very close here to town, so make sure you are taking your tornado precautions. We'll zoom out a little bit more. Let's remove that track, and of course, this line extends all the way up into far northeast Oklahoma, coming right across Grand Lake and Grove and Miami. So we do want to take a look at that. There is some severe concerns with this line as it does push its way to the north and to the east. We'll zoom out again. There's our two tornado warnings here into Haskell County and into LaFleur County. Let's go ahead and pan up here to the north. So there's Miami, here's Grove and Grand Lake, here is Jay. There's our strong line of storms and even severe line of storms moving through with the winds possibly gusting up to about 60 miles per hour. So it's coming down in buckets here around Grove and around Jay. Let's go ahead and let's pan a little bit farther down the south on this line as we do track it here into parts of Adair County as well. You can see the leading edge here now. There's Tahlequah and just getting, again, heavy rain at the moment. Leading edge now almost due north-south here right on the Cherokee and Adair County line. So this extends up Little Kansas here, far southern portions of Delaware County. Let's do a quick storm track on this as it moves off to the east at about 40 to 45 miles per hour with the line itself. And again, going to come right here into around Stillwell and eventually here to around areas around Westville too. So again, tracking that line here to the east. So let's see if we can get this to go on here properly. And it looks like it's going to give me some issues here. But let's try this one more time. And again, that line here tracking off to the east. There we go. That's a little bit better. So we're looking here at around Cherry Tree at about 124, Stillwell about 125, and Dutch Mills at about 135, Lincoln at about 141, and Uniontown about 144. And eventually this is going to continue to work its way into parts of Arkansas as it does track its way to the east. Again, the leading edge of this line, we could have those wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. That's why we've got severe thunderstorm warnings all along here, this line, as it does track its way to the east. And then, of course, we've got those stronger storms here prompting the tornado warnings here now for parts of Haskell County and into LaFleur County. The area of rain extends all the way back to about I-35. It is beginning to dry out in Oklahoma City, but very much has worked over the atmosphere here in eastern Oklahoma. But we are watching to the west. Later on today, we could get some redevelopment in northwest Oklahoma, and even though the atmosphere will be worked over and very much stabilized here, we still might see a couple of severe storms to the north and west that could make a run into northwestern portions of Green Country by later on this evening. So once this threat moves out here over the next hour or two, we'll get a little bit of a break from the severe weather threat, although it might take a little bit longer for the rain to move out, and then we'll watch for at least that chance we could get some redevelopment by later on this evening and into tonight. But again, that line still working through. Here's our tornado warnings, again, right near Keota and also here in the parts of LaFleur County. Chief Meteorologist James Ayla, you've had a chance to look at some high-resolution Doppler radar with this line, and of course keeping an eye on those circulations here in southeast Oklahoma.
Yeah, just about to move out of parts of Haskell County into LaFleur County. We still have a lot of rain to go in Tulsa. While that's normally a bad thing on a weekend, it's actually a good thing right now. It's helping keep our atmosphere from destabilizing, preventing another round of thunderstorms from firing up. Now, that is still not out of the question, especially northwest of Tulsa later this evening. But as Michael's been tracking, this line of thunderstorms continuing to move out of the state into the state of Missouri. Now, new severe thunderstorm warnings out ahead of that. And we still have tornado warnings in effect in the southeast part of Oklahoma right now. And you can see right in here, parts of eastern Haskell and northwestern LaFleur County. And we can zoom right into these. I want to update these because as they continue moving north, and there's the new warning. I was about to point out there was a circulation developing in between these two tornado warnings, and we have a new one, new tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service here in Tulsa. As we come up to the current picture, they've got one circulation south of Bixby, another circulation on Highway 31 just to the west of Bixby, and a little bit weaker circulation now. Looks like it's close to Keota, maybe just to the south of Keota. We can come into Doppler radar, and you can certainly see how bright that green is right here. That's that circulation that's moving almost directly toward Bixby right now. That's the new one that prompted that kind of in-between tornado warning, and as it moves to the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, that's going to be moving right through the Bixby area at about 132. Good idea to take your tornado precautions right now. Ward 138, Panama 143, all the way towards Spiro by 148, out of our coverage area. We're also continuing to watch for any circulation in just to the southeast of Keota right now. That does not look as strong as it did earlier. In fact, I'd say the strongest one that we have ongoing is the one that's moving up toward the community of Bixby right now in the northwestern corner of LaFleur County. Our circulation here moving northwest of Worcester, that's actually going to be really close to Cavanaugh Hill as that moves to the northeast, but still seeing a little bit of circulation right here. And as that continues to move toward the northeast, that's looks like it's going to be fairly close to the community of Poto as it slides right over Cavanaugh Hill and up toward Highway 59 right now. That circulation to the west of Bixby looks like it's just north of Highway 31 right in here. And so we'll continue to watch that for you, too, as it moves toward the community of Bixby. Now, soon, all of these tornado warnings will be cleared out of eastern Oklahoma as we continue to see just a little bit of circulation, maybe just to the south of Keota right now. Okay, now this pictures on the left side of your screen are some trees down in McAllister. And if you've been following these storms, this is where this line of thunderstorms moved into our area first, doing that damage. And we've seen quite a bit of tree damage. In fact, I just retweeted pictures that a gentleman sent to me of a large oak tree that fell into his grandparents' home right through their living room. Thankfully, very thankfully, they were in another room at the time. So very serious, even if this is not a tornado hit, even straight line winds with fully leafed out trees and very wet ground. I mean, damage can happen. Trees can uproot very easily because the ground is so soft. We've just dropped that northern tornado warning. We're down to just 2 tornado warnings right now. as we continue to see this circulation passing very close to the community of Bixby. Tell you what I want to do, and that's look at high-resolution Doppler radar right now, just kind of glancing over my shoulder at it. We're going to take a little closer in view of that one because it continues to be about the strongest one, and it looks like it's located just to the northeast or northwest of Bixby right now. So here's the community of Cartersville. This is going to be kind of moving up. If it continues on its current track, it's going to be moving up past Highway 9, and once it does that, we're in mainly agricultural land and the Arkansas River bottoms all the way back over toward Roland, so Fort Coffee, Braden, Foreman area, north of Spiro. But that's the circulation that we're watching very closely right now, and it's right on the Haskell County line, and this is so very close to the community of Bixby right now. You can actually see that big hook in the reflectivity. We look at velocity right now, and again, we're going to watch this closely. I don't see any strong indication that we're lofting debris with this storm at this point, but that's still a strong circulation. It looks like it's about a mile, maybe 2 miles to the northwest of the community of Bixby right now. So that's something we're going to watch very closely. We're waiting to get an update from this radar product, but that is a very strong indication. We've got a leading edge circulation that's capable of producing a tornado right around Bixby and Cartersville, maybe both of these, because we've got strong rotation kind of indicated right on top of Cartersville. We've got the bright green here, the bright red here. That implies we've got some circulation on top of Cartersville right now. And again, I'm going to back up this radar picture real quick. So that's a little bit of a lowering in the CC, but it's not terribly consistent at the moment. So we go back to CC with this one. Northwest of Bixby, not seeing any evidence that's super clear that we've got tornado debris being lofted. As we look elsewhere in parts of LaFleur County, our circulation moving up towards Shady Point also bears watching too. That's got to be moving across Highway 59 fairly soon. But our big concern are these two circulations moving out of Haskell County into northwestern parts of LaFleur County, very close to Bixby. And if this holds together, this is going to be moving up into parts of the Arkansas River Valley too. Again, we're looking right in here, so very bright greens right on Bixby. We may be getting some pretty strong straight line winds sweeping into Muskogee County right now, or into LaFleur County in the Bixby area right now, indicating, well, 50, 55 mile per hour winds about 1,500 feet up. So that's something we're going to be watching closely in that area. There's our Cartersville storm again. Had some lowering in that CC right there that may give us a glimpse that we may have had a tornado touchdown there briefly. Let's see if that actually, yeah, that actually has moved. So we may have a TDS. We may have tornado debris just to the southeast of Cartersville as that moves up toward the community of Ward in northern parts of LaFleur County. So that's continuing to be the strongest circulation that we have ongoing right now, and maybe producing at least a tornado. So very close to Cartersville, northwest of Bixby, moving across the county line into northern parts of LaFleur County. Still a little inconclusive, not totally sure that's what we're seeing, but it certainly is coincident with reflectivity and that strong velocity taking place right here. So it could very well be. So we'll watch that closely as it moves out of our coverage area. We're going to keep it here until we clear away from Bixby, because we are on cable in Bixby, even though it's not one of our coverage counties. We are on cable because, from what I understand, we get cable in Bixby comes over from Haskell County. So that's why we're going to stay with you in Bixby. Again, want to stress that we have no severe weather threat taking place across the Tulsa metro area, even though we are still getting pouring rain falling right now. And then our 2 tornado warnings that are in effect until 1:45. So only about 15 more minutes to go here as these move across parts of northern LaFleur County. Now, you get up to the north into parts of Sallisaw. This is not an orientation that's quite as conducive for tapping into that atmospheric wind profile that could lead to these spin-ups. So what we're looking at in Sallisaw, just heavy rain, downpours all the way up and down to Highway 59 from Kerr Dam, around the corner, Wild Horse Barbecue, the Sallisaw Airport, up through Sallisaw and all the way into Adair County toward Westville. just a heavy downpour moving in. Our team coverage continues with Fox23 meteorologist Michael Sager. And Michael, we had these, like we've seen, all of these spin-ups today. Once they get going pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's how these things happen. They go very fast, and I tell you what, I got to give credit to the National Weather Service. They have been on top of it today as well, getting these tornado warnings out as quickly as they possibly can, because with spin-ups, it can be very tricky. They do happen very fast, and of course, as we are looking here, now that tornado warning has been dropped for Haskell County, but continues here into parts of LaFleur County as that circulation, James was pointing out, and I was just looking at the correlation coefficient as well, James. I think you were right. I think that is a TDS signature there on the high-res Doppler radar. But let's zoom in a little bit closer, and I also want to flip it over to reflectivity, or excuse me, to velocity, so we can actually look at what's going on with the circulation and, of course, the velocity, how the air is moving within the thunderstorms. But let's zoom in a little bit closer here. And again, with velocity data, what we're actually measuring, again, we're measuring whatever's in the storms, the raindrops, whatever it is, the air, or those moving to you and away from you, or to the radar and away from the radar. But basically, it's the same concept of a police officer with his radar gun measuring your speed as you're driving down the road. So what we're doing with Doppler radar, much bigger scale, obviously, is measuring the wind speed of the raindrops within the reflectivity, what's moving to the radar and what's away from the radar. And when you get these areas here where that circulation, you can tell where it's circulation where you have tight inbounds and tight away bounds. So you know you've got a circulation here, and that's exactly what we're seeing here now to the north of Bixby as this continues to track off to the north and to the east. So let's do a quick storm track on this again. Movement on these have been a little bit closer now to about 30 miles per hour. So again, thankfully right now it looks like this circulation now is passing to the north of you in Bixby. So it looks like maybe staying just north of the community, but this is going to continue to track its way to the north and to the east. And if it holds together, may work its way eventually into southern portions of Sequoia County. So we're looking at Ward at about 136, Sunset Corner about 142, and Stony Point at about 143. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Again, this circulation quite tight as it's come across here parts of Haskell County and now moving into LaFleur County. So certainly capable of producing a tornado as it moves off to the north and to the east. We also have that other tornado warning here a little bit farther to the south. Let's pan farther south. Let me remove that storm track there, and we'll pan a little bit farther to the south on this other tornado warning. If I can get that to click, let's try it one more time. There it goes. And again, let's pan a little farther here to the south. And with this circulation, has been showing some signs definitely of weakening as it has worked its way here to the north and to the east. Tornado warning leading up to about the Shady Point here. And again, not nearly as much circulation here as what we had earlier. So right now, I'd say the biggest concern would be with this one here as it continues to track its way now to the north and to the east of Bixby, continuing to move off at about 30 miles per hour. We still have that line of storms as well. For those of you to the north, we'll go all the way to the north here, and we'll track this line. It's again soon to be moving here southwestern portions of Missouri and into portions of Arkansas, but we still have severe thunderstorm warnings here for those of you here in Delaware County, back down here into parts of Adair County, eastern Cherokee County, and southern Cherokee County. So there's that line up and down here, Highway 159. I mean, it is just a tough go right now with heavy rain, a lot of wind. And again, as James was mentioning, with the saturated ground, it won't take much to knock over a few trees. With all the rain that we've had, again, that ground is not going to hold trees as well as it would if the ground was a bit drier. So again, as this line of storms pushes to the east, now getting very close here to West Siloam Springs and getting close here to around Westville and Stillwell, basically moving in as we speak. Again, you want to make sure you are inside, away from windows. Winds could gust up to about 60 miles per hour. Not really too concerned with large hail with this line. You might get some small hail here or there, but large hail, not too much of a concern. The big concern would be the straight line winds, the heavy rain, and the possibility, like we've got here, of these quick spin-ups. And it's when these storms get oriented, and James was pointing this out earlier, when they get oriented a little bit more northwest to south and east, then they have a chance to tap that low-level shear to possibly get a few quick spin-ups. And that's why, if you look at this here, that's right where we've got those tornado warnings here into parts of LaFleur County. That line extends all the way back down into parts of Texas. I'm going to zoom all the way out. We're still eyeing here that we could get some redevelopment in northwestern parts of the state. That is still quiet. You can see the rain, though, at least the back edge of the rain, beginning to work its way to the east of I-35. So this has really worked over the atmosphere for us here in Green Country. So once this line clears into Missouri and into Arkansas, our severe threat will be done, at least temporarily, unless we get to something else to develop north and west later on tonight. Still watching those tornado warnings to the south and east. James, what are the latest? What is the latest that you have got?
Yeah, it still looks like that strong circulation moving right into the Arkansas river bottoms and extreme northern parts of LaFleur County, but that is moving out of our coverage area right now, so we're going to be able to drop coverage. But an update quickly in Tulsa. Light to moderate rain continues as we look on the left side of your screen at some major tree damage in McAllister, whether this is tornado caused or straight line wind. The result is still the same, a lot of damage and destruction, especially some of these trees. And Michael, as you said, the strongest thunderstorms now pushing to the east out of Oklahoma into parts of Arkansas. And the only tornado warning that we have left is now out of our coverage area in northern parts of LaFleur County. So we'll continue to watch these closely as they move right into Fort Smith. But we've had a couple of brief spin-ups, and just a few minutes ago, evidence just to the north of Bixby that we had a tornado touch down and loft some debris into the radar. But for now, we will continue to have our Fox 23 severe weather teams fanned out across eastern Oklahoma, gathering damage reports for you, and we'll have that a little later this evening on Fox 23 News. And, of course, if there's a tornado warning in our coverage area, we'll be right back on at a moment's notice. And, of course, you can always stay updated on Fox23.com and follow me on Facebook and Twitter for more.